here, 1, 2, and 2, and got some cards to talk about today. The Legend Duelist set was just announced. It's kind of like a legacy support, Dragons of Legend style set that's going to be coming out, oh, God knows when. It was just announced for the OCG, frankly. And it's got some really cool legacy support for a couple of the original series' main characters. Specifically, Joey, Mai, and Mako. I could do all of them in one go, but that would be boring and annoying, and I wouldn't be able to talk about any one card as long as I'd like. So instead, we're going to split this up, and I'm going to do, I don't know, Mako first.
Alright guys, I think the reason why I decided to start with the water support is mostly because I just did that totally awesome Tiny Turtle Turbo deck. I can't believe I did it on the first try. And I really want to kind of, I'm in a water mood, I guess. You know, it's spring, it's raining out, it's water time, I guess. I'm getting hyped up for summer, maybe? I don't know. But the first card announced was Stronghold Whale, which is kind of a retrain of Fortress Whale, so one of Mako's cards. All these are kind of like retrains of Mako's cards. So let's get into this big fish. He's a level 7 water fish type effect monster with 2350 attack and 2150 defense, so that if you're trying to hold your life points in your head instead of using a calculator or your phone, you're gonna have a bad time. And like any good modern effect monster, he has 3 effects, so he's got that going for him, although you can only use the first one once per turn. Number 1, if this card is in your hand or graveyard, you can tribute 2 water monsters, special summon this card. So that's actually really kind of neat. Tributing 2 monsters is a little rough for him. That's kind of a steep cost. It's basically like you get to tribute summon this thing without actually having to burn a normal summon on it, however. So it's kind of cool. The fact that it's from your graveyard is also really neat, meaning you can discard him with, like Swap Frog or something in order to get him in the graveyard as basically a free cost. And there's some synergy there, and a lot of decks tend to spam a lot on the board, so there might be some cool synergy with him. I'd actually like to see if anything can actually take advantage of that Tribute Water effect. And he also has this effect where if this card is special summoned, so synergy with his first effect, you can set 1 Sea Stealth attack directly from your deck to the field, letting you kind of garner a little advantage. That is a trap card, which we're about to go over in a little while, so sit right back and we will get back to that tale in the future. Did I inadvertently just make a Gilligan's Island reference? What the fuck? Anyway, once per turn, this is effect 3, once per turn during either player's turn, when an opponent's card or effect that targets exactly 1 water monster you control and no others is activated, you can negate that activation, and if you do, destroy it. That means he's got a little self-protection as well as protection for the other monsters you have on board, making him kind of the boss monster of the Mako deck if this is gonna turn into a deck. And being a fish type in general means there's tons of support with him, so he's actually not a bad card. Next up is Legendary Fisherman number 2, basically a retrain of Legendary Fisherman. We got number 3 before we got number 2, which I always thought was really weird. The OCD child in me was just so annoyed by that. But we finally got number 2, and yeah, he's alright. He is a level 5 water warrior type effect monster with 2200 attack, 1800 defense. This card's name becomes Legendary Fisherman while on the field or in the graveyard, so that's really cool. It doesn't count as Legendary Fisherman in the deck like a lot of other cards that have this kind of effect do, so you don't have to worry about that if you're really trying to make a Legendary Fisherman deck. I don't know, but it's at least interesting to point out. While Yumi is on the field, this card is unaffected by other monster effects, so kind of similar to the classic Legendary Fisherman. Pretty solid little effect there. Tons of cards act as Yumi as well, which is actually something I was going to kind of talk about in a little while. If this face-up card leaves the field by an opponent's card effect, or if it is destroyed by battle, so basically if this thing is removed from the field by anything due to your opponent, you can add 1 level 7 water monster from your deck to your hand. So let's search as the first guy. That's kind of cool. There's also some other decent things like Duelists and things like that. Like, you could get Title. Oh, why is he banned? Damn, there'd be some cool decks with this. Whatever, but that's a fun little thing to keep advantage going. And actually, I really like this card. I really wish they could make a deck out of this. Next up is a quick play spell for the deck, I guess if you want to call this a deck. It says you can only activate 1 of this card per turn. The thing's called Raging Karushin. It's an old sea serpent card. If Yumi is on the field, target a number of monsters your opponent controls up to the number of water monsters you control whose original level is 5 or higher. Destroy as many of them as possible, and if you do, those monster zones cannot be used until the end of next turn. So this is kind of like it's kind of got some like future proof to it. You got your link summoning block in here, which is kind of fun. So if you're playing like a heavy monster main deck, high level, I don't know, water synchro deck, or you're, I guess, presumably playing Legendary Fisherman, you can use this card. It's quick play, so that's really cool. You can use this card to block your opponent's active monster zones that are linked to their link summon zone, as well as just preventing them from, you know, being able to go into their extra deck at all. So there's some stun aspect to this. It's quick play, which means it's chainable, which is just probably the biggest reason why this card's even remotely interesting to talk about. And I actually do think it's going to see some play if we get some high-level water deck. I have a couple ideas again for this one, like I'll say. And last but not least is that Sea Stealth Attack card I talked about, that the first card lets you set from the deck, and it's a continuous trap, so you know, setting from the deck is pretty good. When this card is activated, you can activate one Umi from your hand or graveyard. This is actually kind of cool because, like I said, in a few minutes I'm going to talk about some of the cards that all this kind of works with. And Umi, the fact that it can activate one from your hand or graveyard is cool because you don't actually have to be playing Umi as a card. You can actually play some of the other cards that pretend to be Umi, because a lot of them pretend to be Umi regardless of where they are. And if Umi is face up on the field, this card gains effects, which that's really cool. Once per turn, you can banish one water monster you control until the end phase. During this turn, face-up spell and trap cards you control cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. So this kind of lets you... Actually, I really like this for my Aqua Actresses. I might have to find a way to put this in there to protect my spell and traps from my opponent's spell trap destruction until I want them to kill it. But anyway, this is kind of fun. Again, if you're playing, I don't know, that Spiral Radiance Dragon deck or something, this could have some interesting use for it. Basically guarding all of your back row against all the massive twin twisters that everyone's running. The other effect it gets at the start of the damage step: if a water monster you control whose level is level 5 or higher battles an opponent's monster, destroy that opponent's monster, basically bestowing your monster with El Shaddoll Constructs effect, which again, for that Radiance deck, this might actually be a really solid little card. And just kind of punching Umi here into the search function lets us bring up some interesting crap. Kind of the things that I decided to mouse over, like I said, were all this Radiance Dragon support. There are a lot of it's basically on this Radiance, the Spiral, the Mythical Radiance Dragon. He's level 8, so he's not level 7, so he's not searchable by the one card, which is that's frustrating. But he is high level, so a lot of the other cards work with him. And like I said, all the he's got a what do you call this? A field spell that is, this card's name is always treated as Umi. So that means even in the hand, this thing is considered as Umi. So that one card will let you actually play this from the hand. Your Lamura, the Forgotten City, and what is the other one called? Legendary Ocean. There we go. Legendary Ocean. This is another, these two are also, they're kind of a pair. They do level modulation, which is really kind of neat if you're playing like a Synchro Water deck, which there is always a good Synchro Water deck, because there's some really good Water Synchros. Brionic just came off the ban list. So you got some level modulation here, so you can do some fun stuff with that, as well as your Daedalus, which is just, you know, if you're playing Duel Links there, you got a big old Daedalus. As well as this Forgotten Temple of the Deep. This is an old card, but again, it's got some interesting things. It does, what is this? Where is it? You can target one level 4 lower fish, sea serpent, or aqua type monster you control. Banish a target during the turns. You can summon that target. I don't know. Again, this is for that banish fish deck. I don't know if you can use it for anything, but again, it's another card that treats the field as Umi. So you got some options here.
Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Stay tuned for part 2. I think Ryan's also going to be uploading a video to the channel very soon too, so he might beat me, so we'll see. So look for his video as well, and remember guys, if you don't show the matter who will, I will see you guys next time.